This is the story of how I successfully launched a profitable product online. But to start out, I want to emphasize that this story was preceded by almost 3 years of trying unsuccessfully to launch an online business. And before that, about 7 years of trying to figure out what I even wanted to do. This story starts when I was 6 months into my YouTube journey, and my channel had grown to about 15,000 subscribers. I was earning just enough from ad revenue and freelancing that I'd been able to finally quit my day job. Though, to be honest, we were still barely scraping by and mostly living off of savings. The time had come to launch a digital product and hopefully create a stream of passive income. The only problem was that I'd already tried to launch several digital products over the past year or so, and none of them had been successful. So it was time to try something really different. So first of all, let's briefly talk about what didn't work in those previous launches. One thing that didn't work was trying to launch an untested idea, a product that I didn't know if there was demand for. Another thing that didn't work was trying to do a big launch where I went all out, trying to spend money on ads, trying to do a webinar, do email marketing, where I tried to copy the big online business gurus. That didn't work for me at all. And the third thing that didn't work was trying to create the product ahead of time. I had wasted so much time building products that I was never able to sell, running launches that never produced a single result, and I was done with that. So here's what I decided to do instead. I decided that I was just going to do something really casual and not make something big. Make something really small and just hurry up and launch it. And by small, I mean something that was simple and that I could sell for a low price point. So specifically, I decided that I was going to do a live workshop that I would sell for $29. And because I had no idea if this would be successful, but I wanted to figure out what people actually wanted to buy, I decided to do not just one live workshop, but one and then another the next month and another the next month and so on until I found an idea that people were really interested in. So here's what ended up happening. I launched the first workshop in November of 2017. And this first workshop was about how I had launched my book on Amazon the previous year and how I had turned it into a bestseller with no audience at all. When I told my email list and my YouTube subscribers about this upcoming workshop, I pretty easily and quickly got about 30 sales at $29 each, which meant that I earned about $900. Now, considering that when I had tried to sell big courses with big launches in the past, I hadn't managed to make a single penny, I was ecstatic to be making $900 after having sent just a couple of emails for a product that I hadn't even created yet. A couple weeks later, I taught that workshop live and it was a major hit. The 30 people who participated really enjoyed it and gave me really positive feedback, which was another win in my book. I decided not to do a workshop in December just because the holidays and all, so the next workshop I scheduled was for January of 2018. That workshop was called How to Consistently Get Clients Online, and people didn't seem as interested in that topic. I only had about 20 people signed up, but that still meant that I ended up earning almost $600, which I wasn't upset about. And I especially wasn't upset because it was still a good learning experience. I wasn't expecting each and every one of these workshops to do phenomenally. I was just trying to learn what people wanted. The next month, February of 2018, I did a workshop about how to get started making money online. And basically, I shared what had worked for me and what hadn't, and kind of the basic building blocks of what it took to make money online. This workshop ended up being the most successful one so far. About 45 people signed up, meaning that I earned $1,350. And that was the first time I ever earned more than $1,000 online. After that success, I was planning to do another workshop the very next month, but some things got in the way. Basically, as I started planning this workshop, I decided I wanted it to be bigger and better and more polished, so I decided to not teach it live, but instead pre-record the videos. Now, at first, I thought that this would just be better because I could, instead of having that live video quality that's never quite as good, I could record them first and then send people just higher quality videos. But because I was recording those videos, I had a lot more opportunity to make the program, which is really what it ended up being, a lot bigger. So what was supposed to be a one video live stream that would have happened in March of 2018 ended up being a 20 video course that I released in May of 2018. Not exactly what I was planning to do, but people were pretty interested in that topic. I had 40 people sign up for that workshop that was about YouTube strategies that I called Channel Launch. And that was the very first iteration of a program that I later went on to sell for the next 3 years, expanding and improving on it each year. And as I expanded and improved on it, and this is kind of a spoiler for maybe some future episodes of the show, but we slowly raised the price as the product improved, and it went on to earn me about $100,000 over the next 3 years. But that is a story for another day. The point is that in May of 2018, I sold a workshop for $29 at 40 people signed up, so I earned about $1,200. So this brought me to the end of my experiment. I had tested out 4 different workshop ideas. I had earned about $4,000. And I want to remind you, I didn't do a big launch for any of these at all. In fact, for most of them, I sent just 2 emails to my email list and maybe posted something on the YouTube community section as well. But I didn't make a video about these topics and I didn't do a full-on launch. Earning $4,000 was definitely really nice, especially at that point in time when I hadn't really been able to earn much of any money selling digital products before. But what was even nicer was the fact that now I had some real data about what people actually wanted to buy. Now I was starting to get traction. Now I had some happy customers who could become repeat buyers. Another big benefit was that I was starting to feel successful. Instead of feeling like someone who couldn't manage to make a single sale, now I had these happy customers who were giving me positive feedback. I had also created the beta versions of several digital products that now I could continue to sell. I sold the live workshops for $29, but now I could sell the replays of those events. And some of them I continued to sell for $29 for the next couple of years, but some of them I expanded upon and sold for a couple $100 instead. Overall, by completing this process and testing out these different ideas, I ended up feeling like I had a lot more options and opportunities before me, whereas before I did this, I really felt stuck and like nothing was working out. If you're in a similar place to where I was just before this, and you're just trying to get something off the ground, start making your first sales, here are a few tips to help you be more successful. First, make sure that you are focused on the process, not just the destination. With some of my earlier failed attempts at launching products online, I was really focused on just a certain number of sales that I was trying to generate, and I ended up making no sales at all. But with this process that I shared with you today, where I launched these live workshops, I was instead entirely focused on the process. I didn't really have any expectations for how much money I might earn, but instead I was just focused on what I was trying to learn. Tip number 2 is to keep it fun and casual. Don't try to make things too big or formal early on, because not only is that a lot more work and a lot more stressful, but it's not as attractive either. This next one is a big one. You really need to have an abundance mindset, not a scarcity mindset. When I had my failed launches, I was just scrounging for any sale that I could make. I felt kind of desperate, and I'm sure it came across that way. But when I did these live workshops, because I was more focused on the process, I wasn't feeling desperate at all. I was just trying something and wondering what would happen. I approached it with a mindset of curiosity. And that was closely related to a feeling of abundance and like there were plenty of opportunities in the world, and I had the space and the time to try different things out. And one last tip, which I mentioned in episode 2, but I think bears repeating, don't do too much work early on. With my earlier failed launches, I built entire courses and then tried to sell them, and it didn't work out. With these live workshops, I didn't create anything ahead of time. I just had an idea for something that I wanted to share with people, and then I sent them an email and asked them if they would be interested in learning that. And when people said yes, then I created the product. It saved me a lot of time, a lot of headache, and made the whole process a lot less stressful. That brings us to the end of this third episode of 0 to 1 million. If you are enjoying this series, I would love to know. This is basically the end of season 3 because at this point in the story, I've now earned $1,000. So we're tentatively planning on doing a second season. My story from going from my first $1,000 to my first $10,000. If you are interested in seeing that, be sure to leave me a comment below. Let me know that you are enjoying the series. And I think that we'll probably get that next series rolling in about 2 months from now if there is enough demand. But I would love to hear from you. Be sure to give this video a like if you did enjoy this video, if you have enjoyed the series, and also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this in the future about entrepreneurship and marketing. Thank you so much for being here with me today, for supporting the channel, and for watching this series. I hope you are doing fantastic, and I'll see you guys again soon. Can you relate to my disappointment? Maybe because you've tried launching before and it was a big flop? If so, I'd like to tell you a little about our signature business accelerator program, Validate. If you need to test your business idea, ensure there's real demand for your product, and figure out how to sell it, then Validate is the program for you. We'll spend 8 weeks working together to beta launch your product, earn your first $1,000, and get the proof you need that you're on the right track. Validate is a live accelerator program, and it's starting again in just a few weeks. If you'd like to join us, then head to gillianperkins.com/validate to learn more and sign up now. We'd love to work with you and help you get your business off to an amazing start. Here's to your success.